camera, and then we will go and officially get started. Okay. Okay. I officially call our Youth Commission meeting to order at 7:03. Okay, to start off our meeting, we're going to start off with roll call. So when I say your names, please say here or present. Commissioner Sunita.
Here.
Commissioner Jolie.
Here.
Commissioner Anisha.
Here.
Commissioner Sophie.
Here.
Commissioner Yasmin.
Here.
Commissioner Sarah.
Here.
Commissioner Ion.
Here.
Commissioner Mason.
Here.
Commissioner Archit.
Here.
Commissioner Monbic.
Here.
Commissioner Brandon.
Here.
Commissioner Miles.
Here.
Commissioner Ethan.
Here.
Commissioner Ashley.
Here.
Commissioner Caleb. Absent. Okay. Perfect. At this time, I would open it up to public comment. But I see that there is nobody in the waiting room at the moment to join our meeting, so there is no public comment for today's meeting. We're going to be moving down our agenda to the approval of minutes. So we will be reviewing the minutes from our 2023-2024 Youth Commission. Their last meeting was on May 6th. From their regular meeting, you'll find it on the second page of your agenda. So just spend a quick minute overviewing that. And I would ask one of our commissioners to approve and the second commissioner to second the motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Okay, so Sophie moves to approve and then Yasmin seconds. Perfect. And then we will go, we're just going to go around the room. And if you agree, we'll say aye. And if you don't, say nay. Commissioner Sunita.
Aye.
Commissioner Jolie.
Aye.
Commissioner Anisha.
Aye.
Sophie and Yasmin already moved in seconds. Commissioner Sarah.
Aye.
Commissioner Ion.
Aye.
Commissioner Mason.
Aye.
Commissioner Archit.
Aye.
Commissioner Monbic.
Aye.
Commissioner Brandon.
Aye.
Commissioner Miles.
Aye.
Commissioner Ethan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Ashley.
Aye.
Perfect. All right, everyone agrees. The minutes are approved from last year's Youth Commission meeting. Okay, so now we're going to move on to announcements. The announcements that I do want to share for tonight is we have been asked to present at City Council meetings. So this was on our agenda that we shared from orientation that there would be those presentations throughout the year, one in October, one in the winter, and then one finally in May at the end of the term. So they've invited us to present on Tuesday, October 15th. Their City Council meetings start at 7 p.m. So for this first meeting, I wanted to get it on your radar. This presentation typically happens by our chair and vice chair, or if one of them can't attend, one of the other. Usually I help in this first presentation a little bit with assisting to kind of give you that example of how presenting works, and we work together with that as well. We'd love to have other youth commissioners attend the meeting, one, to support your fellow commissioners. Also, it's great experience and exposure for you all to get to see part of a city council meeting for the presentation. So wanted to give that update and put that on your radar, and I'll help give reminders as we move closer since we have about a month till that meeting for city council. But wanted to put that invitation on everybody's radar for that to save the date for the announcements for that. The next announcement, and again, it's kind of a save the date, is for Fun Run, and we'll talk more about that as we get forward. But Fun Run will be also in October, so another busy month. It will be on Saturday, October 19th. And so that will be our Oktoberfest Fun Run. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move forward as well too, but wanted to kind of put that date on everyone's radar for tonight. And that is all I have for announcements for this evening. Next on our agenda is old business, but for tonight's meeting, we don't have any old business as this is our very first meeting. So typically we would talk about old business of what we did at a previous meeting and things that we still have pending. But for this evening, we will just be jumping into our new business, which will be our primary portion of tonight's meeting. Okay, so for tonight, for our new business, our first agenda item is our Recreation Master Plan Community Discussion Update. So the recommended action here is that our commissioners that attended this community discussion that happened last week on September 4th, for those commissioners to provide a brief update for the rest of our commission to hear about your experience and what that was like participating in that event. And I also want to thank the commissioners that were a part of that. Could all those commissioners raise their hand that went to it? Mason, Ion, Sarah, Yasmin, and Sophie. Awesome. I have some of you kind of share what the experience was like.
Okay, I'll start. Basically, it was about creating the city's new recreational master plan for the next 10 years of what we want to see and how the community members, like what they want to see the city develop, either parks, it's mostly parks and recreation, that's like this department. So what they want to see improved, what they want to see added, all of those things. We went out into breakout rooms. It was really nice to meet a lot of people. We also met the mayor. She's a really nice lady. So yeah.
And to add on to that, it seems like what the current plan is to renovate a lot of the parks. So a lot of the categories that the park was like put under for each attribute was from excellent to poor or unusable. And a lot of the park facilities for almost all parks were under fair, which means that they could be renovated. So that seems like the current plan is to renovate them. And also most of them are also poor. So that's the current plan, it seems.
There was also a lot of discussion regarding the community center as a whole and the whole parks and recreation, recreation group. So the breakout rooms were essentially for people to provide feedback. Overall, people were talking about the parks, the facilities and the buildings. They offered suggestions about what the facilities could be used for, and it was overall a great experience.
Yeah, and we also talked about how all of the amenities have like a life cycle, and like they all, expire at some point, and we have to just work on, replacing them and just getting input from the community. So right now in their like kind of plan, we're in between the data collection stage and then the community engagement stage. So yeah.
Awesome.
Last thing, we also talked about like adding synthetic turf fields to make like athletics more accessible to the community. And I've been emailing the mayor about like more resources that she's willing to share with us. So once she gets back to me and we have a meeting, I would love to share that with all of you guys too.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all for attending as well too. I know that our department was super excited to see all of you at the meeting. It's a really big deal that we're doing at the master plan. So really excited to kind of see what comes out of it and what's going to be in place for the next generation. And so you all are really helping to kind of set that foundation for what that looks like. So huge thank you for attending that. They will have another meeting in January at some point. I don't think the date's fully set, but as soon as we have more information with that, we'll be sharing that with all of you so we can kind of more buy-in and what that looks like and how everyone can participate with that too. So thank you for that. And as you'll notice, I'm taking notes for as we go. So typically when we have our secretary, they'll be the one taking notes. So if you see me kind of multitasking, that's what I'm doing for tonight's meeting. But usually our secretary will be taking notes so we can have this for our minutes. Okay, so now I know everyone's very excited. We're going to be moving on to the agenda item for commission roles. So our recommended action here is that all of our commissioners who are going to be running for officer positions, so our chair, our vice chair, and our secretary, will be speaking and sharing why they would feel they're the best candidate for that role. So we'll be going through, we're going to start with secretary and work our way up to chair. Everyone, as you know, will have 1 to 2 minutes for your presentation. I'll stand at the back of the room. I'll have whoever's speaking actually come up here to the front so you can face all of your fellow commissioners. I will be timing you in the back of the room. It's totally fine if you see me waving, but I'm going to help to give a 30-second kind of wave. So if you're at 1.5 minutes and it seems like you're still going, I'm going to just kind of go like this. That means that's your 30 seconds. So you'll have to finish at 2 minutes. I will be slightly strict on the 2-minute rule, just because we do have a full agenda of everything we're talking about. So I want to be mindful of everybody's time with that to be fair that everyone's getting the same amount of time. So if you are getting close to that, once it gets that 2-minute mark, we'll go like this. That'll be like, okay, thank you. If not, I will interject on your behalf. So just know that that might come if you're getting to the 2-minute mark of like, all right, hey, thank you. And we'll have to cut you off. So just kind of being mindful of the time there. Once it gets to 2 minutes, I'll do this. You can say thank you. If you keep going, I will step in. So I just wanted to give that preface with that. Any questions for how the process will work? Okay, so what we will do, we will have our secretary, all of our officers running for that. We have Smita, Ashley, Anisha, and Monvik. Is that correct? Or are you still planning to run for secretary? Wonderful. Okay, so we'll start with secretary. After we have the secretaries go and have all of their presentations, I have sticky notes and we're going to vote. We'll do secretary first, vote, vice chair, vote, chair, vote. Okay, so
Will you be voting too?
I, in this case, will if I see that there's a tie secretly, because typically if Caleb was here, we would have 15 commissioners, so it's an odd number. With 14, it might be totally fine. Last year we had an even split with the 14 being an even number. So I will be counting the votes. Excuse me. I will be counting the votes here, so we'll have the update after each round. Like I said, I'll be standing in the back, so you'll see the little time marker with that. For the order, I am going to actually blindly, I have everyone's name written down in Pope, so that way there's no preference of like first, last. Everyone is going to be fantastic. And I also want to share before you speak, this is a really big deal that you're running for a position, so you should already feel very proud of yourselves. It takes a lot to have the gumption to go and run for a position. It takes a lot to speak in front of your peers. So I first and foremost want to commend you just before we even start that you guys are all awesome. And it does take a lot of guts to do this. And it's a really great learning experience. I can say from my own experience, even running, whether you get the position or not, it's never a bad experience. So wanted to set the preface with that you all are doing an awesome job and all of our commissioners are here to support you. And we're excited to see how you all do this evening. So I'm going to go to the back of the room and I'm going to have my timer. You can just come up here. That way, Cameron can still go with this. And then I will pick up who's going to be going first for our secretaries. Okay, I have Monvik going first, kicking us off.
Is that fine if I use my iPad for presentation?
Yes. So I also want to preface, if you have phone, iPad, or note cards or piece of paper, whatever you have, or if you don't have any notes, also fine, to use for referencing for your speech for that to be able to read off it. Monvik, just give me 1 second to pull up my timer. Whenever you are ready.
All right. Hello, as you may know, my name is Monvik Jawhar, and I'm running for the position of secretary. The role of secretary in the media is often portrayed as someone who must type fast and look good while doing it. And though I think I may accomplish those expectations well, after all, I can type over 160 words per minute, I think what truly makes me a good fit for secretary are my listening and organizational skills. Many have often remarked that I'm a good listener, considering the other person's point before pitching in myself. And I've used my skills beyond just simple conversations. Working in my school's newspaper, I've used my listening and organizational skills to both take good interviews and create meaningful notes from them to ultimately produce detailed and nuanced articles. I further expanded on these skills while creating animated videos for my school's advocacy group. Because these videos were a maximum of 60 seconds, I had to summarize large amounts of information and choose only the most important points to create a short yet impactful video. Experience that will undoubtedly come in handy as I summarize the work we do into meeting notes. Ultimately, if voted secretary, I hope to use my skills to contribute positively to the youth commission. To tell you the truth, I wasn't a part of the youth commission last year, yet that only made me more motivated to work doubly hard and take an extra responsibility that would help me both grow as a person and also give the commission a link between it and the people of Campbell. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope I had the honor of getting your vote.
Oh, good job, Monvik. Okay, that was perfect. Okay, I'm gonna reset our timer. Next person is Samita.
Hi everyone, my name is Samhita and I'm applying to be this year's Youth Commission Secretary. So we have 3 other people applying to be secretary, but what makes me different? Well, I was on the Youth Commission last year and I, of course, observed last year's Youth Commission Secretary, so I inherently know the roles and responsibilities that a secretary needs to do. Also, something very unique to me that I did last year was after every subcommittee meeting, I would create a document of what we did and what we needed to do for the next subcommittee meeting. And during our youth commission share outs, like in every youth commission meeting, we would do a subcommittee share out. So I would print out that document for each person in my subcommittee meeting. So that way, during our subcommittee share outs, it would be really smooth. Okay, so in a way that made me a secretary for my subcommittee, which I did voluntarily. I also have really good handwriting and I can also write really fast. I also type really fast, so depending on what mode I do, I can excel either way. Because I can type and write really fast, I'll have enough time to take notes and I'll also have enough time to collaborate in the discussion. Also, I do so many other extracurricular activities and I still have time. I still came 10 minutes before to this youth commission meeting, which shows that I can manage my life. So managing some notes should be a piece of cake. So vote something up for secretary.
Awesome job, Samita. Okay. Our third candidate for secretary will be Anisha.
Hi, my name is Anisha, and I'm running to be your secretary for the next Youth Commission fiscal year. I'm super grateful for the opportunity to contribute even further to this amazing group of people and contribute to the group's efficacy, efficiency, and productivity. And even though it's my first year being on the Youth Commission, I know that with my current skill set, I will be able to meet the needs of our group and elevate the standard at which we perform. As your secretary, I'll be committed to taking detailed notes during our meetings, a skill I've cultivated throughout my years in high school. I'm a bit of a perfectionist and therefore I'm committed to producing the highest quality work possible. And given the 11 APs that I've excelled in over the years, I definitely know a thing or two about how to take effective notes in a timely manner. Furthermore, I understand the importance of having meeting notes that keep everyone on the same page through my work as a media coordinator for my school's advocacy group and being an editor of my school's area magazine. In both extracurriculars, I've been in charge of creating meeting notes and documenting meeting discussions to ensure that all team members are informed and aligned with the team's goals. These experiences have honed my ability to document discussions accurately and effectively, and I know these skills will be beneficial during my time on the Youth Commission. I also hope to improve my own interpersonal skills through this role. Overall, I'm extremely enthusiastic about the position of secretary and know that I can bring a high level of dedication to our team. My goal is to support our group by ensuring that our meetings are well documented and communications are clear and our tasks are managed efficiently. And I look forward to working with you all this year.
Awesome. Great job, Anisha. All right. And last but not least, Ashley will be our last candidate going for secretary this evening. You're ready, Ashley.
Hi, my name is Ashley and I'm ready to be your secretary. We're all different and that's the best part. Different ideas, feelings, thoughts, and perspectives. So when we collaborate, we make something bigger than just the sum of our parts. As secretary, my job would be to keep us informed, organized, and on track. I want to be the one who not only takes notes, but also takes action. You can count on me to share relevant updates, ensure our meetings are productive, and help us all stay connected and involved. One thing I learned over the past year is that nothing can be achieved by only one person. Just as the chair, vice chair, and secretary are not made up of just 33 people, it is made up of 15. All of us working together to help meet our goals. To vote Ashley for secretary, because in Ashley's notebook, every voice counts and great ideas don't get lost.
Awesome job, Ashley. Okay. I'm gonna go around and get sticky notes. I'll be passing them around the room. Everybody obviously gets one vote. You are able to vote for yourself, so I do want to put that out there. You can vote for yourself. And I also want to start off with secretaries, candidates. Fantastic job. Really great way to kick us off for tonight with all of your speeches. Everybody did an awesome job. Truly, I think some of the best speeches that I've heard for our candidate position. So wanted to give that to each and every one of you. Everyone did really, really great. And everyone's different, which I love too. And everyone also really great on timing for that. Okay. So I am going to move on down. And before you vote, just take one and set them on down, and then the extras, we'll leave them, we'll shift them back around when we do our next vote. Does anyone first need a pen? Anyone else? Get you? Okay. So before you write down on there, I also want to be mindful about my whiteboard pen. So you can write 1, 2, 3, or 4. So I'm gonna write, I have the numbers down on the back of the room, and the number will coordinate to the person. So 1 will be Monvic, he was our first speaker. I'll go in that order. I'll stick these up on the wall. Here's 1 will be Monvic. 2 will be Samita. So that way I'll help you remember 2. Samita, 3 will be Anisha. And 4 will be Ashley. So if it's easier for you to just write the number, you can do that. When you write the number, please try to be anonymous of covering it up. You can fold it in half, and then I will come and collect it from you. You can just raise your hand and see what I've done.
Please. I would like to go away, guys.
What are you doing?
No, I I'm not sleeping, so.
So this is actually.
Yeah.
I will do a 30-second wave.
Okay.
If you see the wave a second time, that's the 2 minute.
Okay.
If you
And
were
then,
like,
like, wrap up.
okay, I have something to Spanish, that's fine. But if you're still talking and I'm gonna go, look, that makes so much, Sophie, and we'll stop.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah. We're almost ready to go on. I can't imagine how many more. Just sure.
Do you all have sessions? They don't, yeah. You have sessions? I will make sure that you don't have to do this all the time. The hardest test they ever. I mean, I can see why I understand that.
I don't know. Last year.
Okay, everybody. Can I grab everyone's attention, please? We have our new 2024-2025 Youth Commission Secretary, and it will be Anisha. Congratulations, Anisha. We're gonna be awesome, and congratulations to everyone else who spoke. Again, truly, everyone did a fabulous job with your speeches. Everyone did a great job with eye contact, creativity, and being able to speak in front of your peers. So I truly do want to commend you for that. So thank you to everybody and congratulations to Anisha. Okay, we are now going to jump to our vice chairs. So we'll be doing the same process for our vice chair. There are also 4 running for vice chair. However, Caleb is running for vice chair. He's just not here tonight, so he won't be able to speak. But if you read responses prior to this meeting, you have an idea of Caleb's qualification and what he thinks for all of that. So you can keep that in mind because he's still in the running for that as well. So we will be hearing from 3 speakers tonight for vice chair, and our 3 speakers tonight will be Yasmin, Mason, and Archit. And so I will also randomly select who will be going in that order for the 3 of you, and then we'll go ahead and vote again. Okay, so to start us off for vice chair, it is going to be Yasmin. Again, if you see me doing the wave, that's your 30-second mark first.
Yeah.
I'll do 2 hands when we're at the 2-minute mark. Wait 1 second to keep this up for a timer.
I gotta do my warm up. Good, you're cool.
I am good, so whenever you are, I'll have to start.
Hello, Commissioners. My name's Yasmin, and I am a sophomore at Westmont High School. This is my 2nd year serving on the Campbell Youth Commission, and I had such a great time last year. I got to meet so many great new people, and Gracie really helped me hone a lot of my leadership skills, and I was really able to apply that to my life. So I decided to take to push myself forward and run for vice chair of the Campbell Youth Commission and apply all the skills which I learned last year as a potential vice chair candidate. I didn't only pick up my leadership skills, of course, from the commission. I also learned a lot of things from my school extracurriculars and clubs. Last year, I was a part of my school's technical theater department, so I was able to lead a bunch of construction projects and costume design things, you name it, right? My teacher saw that I was committed, and I gave clear and concise instructions, which is, I think, a very good quality for the vice chair to have. I also was a part of my school's MSA who was lacking a board member, so they asked me to join in last minute, and I was able to improvise a lot of speeches about Muslim beliefs to club members. Not only that, but I was also asked to join Model UN as well, and I think I'm going to have a great year with applying all the skills which I learned. Improvising is also a very big and important skill that I believe the vice chair should have, and I was really able to sharpen that skill throughout the year. And I really hope you guys all take into consideration my candidacy as a Campbell Youth Commission vice chair candidate. And I look forward to serving you all as a commissioner. Thank you.
Job, Yasmin. Okay, great way to kick us off. So we're going to go next, our last 2. Next will be Archit.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Archit Jain, and I'm a high school senior running for vice chair. We all have something that we hold close to our hearts, whether it's our religions, our friends, or our families. But for me, it is my community, particularly the youth I find myself surrounded by every single day. As vice chair, not only will I be able to represent this youth and our youth commission at city council meetings, but I'll be able to work closely with the chair and a very talented group of individuals, you guys, who share my same set of beliefs to better serve our community, improving my leadership skills simultaneously. Primarily, I would like to share with you all my experiences with the San Jose Youth Commission. I've served as a member of the San Jose Youth Commission's Advisory Council for 4 years, impacting over 10,000 youth. Working closely with the commissioner and a team of 5 people, I've developed tons of policy memos, my most accomplished being increasing housing distance from highways, creating green spaces in San Jose downtown, BIPOC artist grants, tax-free feminine hygiene products, and e-cigarette restrictions for teens. Over this time, I've developed strong skills in leadership, advocacy, policy development, problem solving, team building, and initiative, and so a strong understanding of local government. Over the course of this term, I will utilize these skills as vice chair to lead this group as we work together to serve our youth and community through all the events and projects we brainstorm and work on. Along the way, I'll help us foster communication, engagement and collaboration. So that not only will we become closer into one cohesive group, but we'll be able to leverage each other's skills, ideas, and experiences to achieve our goals and aspirations for the 2024-2025 year, leaving behind quality work to be proud of. I seek your support and vote for the vice chair role, and I'm committed to serving this youth commission. I look forward to working with you all this year. Thank you.
Great job, Archit. Okay, and last but not least, we have Mason.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mason Johnson. I'm a junior at Lincoln High School. As vice chair, I promise you that I'll make this year the most productive and enjoyable year possible. I'll include everyone and listen to ideas and feedback so that everyone's voices are heard and included on the decisions we make together as a team. As chief engineer at my school's robotics club, I've experienced being in a supportive role behind the president, chair in this case, and understand how to manage the needs of everyone. I'm committed to serving the community of Campbell and its youth. My community service, such as building houses in Mexico, feeding the unhoused for city team, and packing food for needy families to feed my starving children, I'm fully capable of serving others and you guys as your vice chair for the 2024-2025 year. Thank you for your consideration.
Now, Mason, thank you. Okay, everyone has been doing great on timing so far as well. I'm gonna go around. Let's see, do we still have enough stickies to go?
I'll be able to.
Okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get some more stickies. Jeff, you wanna send yours maybe that way? And then I'll get some for this hat. For the sticky. We're gonna do a similar process to how we did for our secretary. So our number one will be Yasmin. Two will be Archit and three will be Mason. Okay, and then whenever you all are ready, fold yours up and then I will come around if you just raise your hand. Oh, sorry, and Caleb will be 4. Thank you, Ian. Yes, Caleb is also in the running. So when you're making your votes, should have already practiced with this and hopefully you already are. Obviously going off of the speeches that you're hearing tonight, but from the responses that you hopefully read in advance too, to help you give it a better idea of your candidates. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, you guys can talk for a couple minutes and then just turn to me.
I would not do that.
Sure. Hello, Harold.
Yeah. Agreed, yeah.
I used to know,
I hate all of them, yes. We don't look showers, like,
I mean, like, I bought it.
Oh, you tried.
It's like competitive, but also like competitive information. Yeah.
There was some fire, but I was sure long.
It's okay. I mean, just like
I know.
look at everything and like
I like
Just
the
like-
process.
don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
to someone else about it.
Yeah. I wrote the-
Just like basic rule number one.
Yeah, I mean, you're already doing so much by being.
That's awesome.
Like, it was short and sweet. Sure.
Yeah,
Sometimes
Less
I just like.
information makes it easier. Yeah, honestly, actually, I should have said, like, there's some way that are not. Am I the-
Everyone
It could be-
getting more like.
Male.
And the subject of the stuff has the caption.
Okay, everybody, can I get everyone's attention? Okay, so your vice chair for this year will be Archie. Thank you to Nathan and Yasmin, wonderful job, truly. Everyone's crushing it tonight with your speeches. And now, last but not least, we will have our chairs. So we have two candidates for chair tonight. And I'm gonna blindly pick them as well too. So we have Sophie and we have Ion. Ion, you are gonna kick us off. Ion's gonna be
I
one.
can joke. Yeah.
That's number one.
Number one.
Oh, okay.
That way for voting, so you know, we'll do a similar process. Ion will be one, Sophie will be two. And I let me pull up my timer and then we'll start you off in just a second. Okay, whenever you're ready.
So, hi, my name is Ayan Raza. I'm a 10th grader at Westmont High School. So a little about me. Last year, I was the vice chair for the Campbell Youth Commission, and this year I'm running for the chair of the Campbell Youth Commission. My selected goal is to make sure that every member's voice is heard and valued. I will encourage active participation with everyone to ensure a sense of unity and holistic views to make sure that everyone has an active vote in our decisions. My past experience as a vice chair for the Campbell Youth Commission was by being involved in almost all the Campbell Youth Commission activities. I was present for almost all of the activities except for two, which was the tree planting and the Valentine's Fun Run. But I was there for almost all of them, like the Oktoberfest Fun Run, the Angel House decoration, and Santa's workshop, and a few. I was part of the mental wellness and career educational committees, where for the mental wellness committee, we had a wellness day. I personally worked with another commissioner to reach out to the LGBTQ youth space. And for the career and education committee, we had a job fair where I went around along with other commissioners. We all went around to separate businesses and talked to owners to have their participation in our event. I've also substituted as the chair at many of our city council meetings as she could not make it. So I would read off the slides for her, and I would do the speech for her because she wasn't able to make it, which was fine. Personally, I volunteer at many various organizations. So I volunteer at the San Jose Public Library, where I taught coding to students from underserved communities. I also volunteered at We Embrace an Inclusive World, where I taught special needs kids. And besides that, I volunteer at Foraging Opportunities for Refugees in America. I also volunteer at the Merriam Library Foundation, where they built 40 libraries in Kenya last year. I've been leading fundraisers since I was in 4th grade, and I've raised funds for organizations working with special needs and many other organizations that educate education related and such. And I've raised over $50,000. Thank you, and please vote for me.
Great, good job, Ion. And last but certainly not least, our last candidate going for chair this evening will be Sophie.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sophie. I also go to Westmont, and I'm running for president because I want to continue some of the successes that Youth Commission has had last year. But I also really want to increase the outreach towards the community, form deeper connections with the youth, and get more local businesses to sponsor our events, which means more resources, which means bigger, better events going above and beyond. But the most important thing is that I want to make you guys look good. Like, it's not about me, it's about each and every one of you and it's also about making our youth commission as a whole look good. And we're gonna do that by I would do that as president by making sure meetings run smoothly and efficiently and making sure that everyone's voices are heard, included, and that you can make the differences that you want to make in this community. So some things I've learned from last year, most importantly, is that it's really, really important as a leader and as chair to be sociable and to be a good listener. As chair, we present to the city council 3 times per term about our work plan, and also you are the first to welcome people to our events. You're the first to talk to the mayor, the fire department, all of those good things. And I'm a very social person. I love making connections with all of you and I met the mayor, all of the city council. It's really fun for me and I really enjoy it. In addition to that, I think listening is really key to making people feel included, involved, all of those things, so that, again, you can make the difference that you want to make in this community. I've also had quite a lot of leadership experience. Ever since 3rd grade, I've been in student council. I got elected as my only representative for my school on the superintendent's committee. And more recently, I founded a lacrosse club at my school, joined Life Crew, and coached both lacrosse and field hockey, which I brought my field hockey team to their first win. This has taught me to be a go-getter in life, taught me the communication skills it takes to be a leader, and how to facilitate an environment that helps people achieve their goals. This means for you guys that all of our plans will be successful, and I want to increase outreach for all of our communities to work with other commissioners and everything else. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support, and vote Sophie for shared success.
Great job, Sophie. Okay, I'm gonna go around. If you have, does everyone have sticky, or we still? Okay, we'll send them around. As a reminder, our numbers are right here. So if we're voting for Sophie, number 2, Ion 1. And we'll come around, hold those up. Here. Thank you.
No, it's yours.
Thank you all. Just give me a moment to count these like I did before.
How's Marco? You have Marco?
It's good. I don't know. I'm very welcome. It's like the room at least like 5 times. Yeah, but like, wow, it's not one. And you're good. How many people are freshman year? Freshman, no. Guys, help yourself.
You're so ambitious.
You're a senior?
That means you have to take like a.
So that's like what? How many APs is that?
Five? Five? We have 1 for each. You section.
And we're just.
How do you roll your offers?
I don't
know.
know. Like, doesn't make
I would have abstained too, but we needed a person to run again. You needed someone to run again, come on.
That's not true. Okay, Chloe, last year.
Yeah.
I'm scared, but that's the one.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah. So like I put
Oh, okay, yes, wow. Yeah.
Stop smiling. I mean, that's
Are we ready? So our chair for this year will be Sophie. Great job, both of you. Sophie, wonderful job. Ion, wonderful job. Thank you all for voting, truly. Again, I know I've said this, sound like a broken record, but everyone did fantastic. It is not easy to do public speaking, so I want to recognize that. It is hard to do, and you all did a great job with your speeches. Everyone was great on timing, presenting, so truly, again, everyone did awesome. So thank you all, and I'm excited. So we have, again, our chair will be Sophie for this year, our vice chair will be Archit, and our secretary will be Anisha. So congratulations. And we will all meet before next meeting too, so I can kind of go over an overview with you of how we run the meetings, everything like that. Also for you, Anisha, for secretary, for minutes. So we'll go over the process for notes and all of that good stuff too. So all that will come before our next meeting. So know that that will be coming. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be jumping into will pretty much take up the remainder of our meeting time this evening. And just to also give you a preface for timing for, I know a lot of you depend on rides for this evening. This next part we're going to jump into is our work plan discussion and subcommittees. So for our work plan discussion, we're going to be talking about the initial part, kind of the bare bones, if you will, for what our year will look like for events. So did everybody get a chance to review the Google Sheet? I know most of you filled out ideas for that, so thank you again for doing that. So we have, as a reminder, our subcommittees. We have a health subcommittee, so that can encompass mental, physical health. Within that, we have a community subcommittee. That also, again, great job. It's very broad, make them broad for a reason, so it gives you more opportunity to do more with it. And then the last subcommittee you have in place is your career and education subcommittee. So I would like to go over some of the events that we talked about, and it does not mean that they're set in stone tonight, so I want to share that. It doesn't mean if we pick one thing, that is it, but we want to try to get a better idea tonight, so that way, when you go into your subcommittee meetings later this month on the 23rd, you can really start to dive in to map out what that event looks like. So if I'm going to just use an example that I know is not one, so that way we don't use it. But if you were wanting to plan an ice cream social for the event and we said, this is what it is tonight, ice cream social could mean tons of things. It could mean we're getting sponsorships. We could have another event with it. It could be making our own ice cream. It could be so many things. Tonight, we're just trying to talk about the big picture of like, we want to do something with ice cream. Great. Then that way, when you go into your subcommittee meeting, you have that idea of that's what you're working with, and you can really jump in and go, okay, we want to do partnerships. This is going to be this. We're going to get sponsors. Blah, 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 blah. You're going to really do the more like deep dive in your subcommittee. But this way, you're going to maximize your time because that subcommittee meeting goes fast. And that's when you're really doing kind of more of that working together as a team. Does that make sense? Okay. So like I said, for some of these, we'll be talking about, again, think big picture, and we can start to really map it out in your subcommittee meetings. It can also mean as we walk through these, we'll start with the health subcommittee first. And I pulled out some things that I saw like commonly used from what you all shared. Some of them can be combined into one event. So a lot of these, from what I saw from what you suggested, for the health subcommittee, I saw a lot of kind of going in again, like last year we did do a mental wellness day. I saw a lot of that echoed again this year, and it could be something like, let's say that's what you pick. We can add, you can make it whatever you want it to be, and that would be in the subcommittee meeting. I will share after we have this discussion who's in what subcommittee, because I know everyone's wanting to know what that is. But I would like this initial discussion to be where you don't know what you're in yet. So that way we kind of flesh these out so it's not as biased once you know what commission you're in, and you can fine tune it when you're in your subcommittees in a couple weeks and later tonight as well too. Okay, if you have any questions now, obviously please feel free, raise your hand and we can go through those. I will kind of rely on you all to take notes as well too, because I forgot to bring a whiteboard marker because I normally map it out on here. So we'll kind of take notes and I'll be taking notes too. So I'm just gonna kind of recap some of the ones again for the health subcommittee. And then we can talk about what these are for the health subcommittee, community, and career and education. My goal for this, because I want to be mindful of everybody's time, and so that way you can tell parents, is finishing our meeting close to 8:30. So we're gonna use this next like 40 minutes to kind of jump into this for the bare bones. Okay. So for health subcommittee meeting, I'm gonna just quickly recap. I saw an idea for a spinning wheel, like a prize wheel. I think that would be something that would be great to incorporate into an event. I saw again a lot for mental awareness day, wellness day. I'm kind of grouping some of these because that's where I saw a lot of, and I just printed out your Google Sheets. That's what I'm going off of. Mental health awareness day, a day where you can do different activities to relieve stress. So again, very much in line with having a day of mental health, mental awareness and physical health. Again, partnering with a gym and exercising properly. It's all in that same vein. A drug awareness booth. This could be something, again, I think that sounds like it would be coupled with either that type of event or other opportunities. Social media safety week. We did one last year. Again, it could be something that you bring back or improve upon and kind of go a little bit more in depth with. Another mental health awareness day. There was an idea for a triathlon. So again, on the physical, mental wellness day, sharing healthy recipes. So very similar vein with that, having a sports week. And let's see. And then banning the sale of vapes and e-cigarettes within a mile of the school zone. So that was pretty much like the majority of what was shared with the health subcommittee. And I get a couple people to kind of share their initial thoughts of what they're thinking for health subcommittee. And then we'll go kind of go from there. We'll go Mason, then Sophie.
I thought that the mental wellness day last year did really well. I think we can improve on that. With the health committee, subcommittee, especially everyone on like things so focused on the one subcommittee, we can really bring out all of our best skills to help maximize that event to its fullest potential.
I really do agree with Mason that our mental health day was our biggest hit last year, so I definitely think we should continue that. And I think that these are all really great ideas. However, the banning vaping and drug sales, that is awesome, but I'm not sure that's actually something that we could realistically.
Sarah.
I mean, I wasn't on the commission last year, but I've heard a lot of great things about the mental health day thing. I think it was a really cool event, and yeah, I just think that we can incorporate a bunch of these ideas like into it, like you were saying, the drug awareness food. Like we can have different sort of like subsections of the event. People can kind of, focus on which part they're interested in and kind of divert there.
Yeah. Any other for that for now? Perfect. So basically, I will touch on the mental wellness day that we had last year was a great success for the youth commission. I do know other youth commissions that do similar type of events too. It's an opportunity for that subcommittee when they go into it, and all of you as a whole as well too, to build on the event. I think there's a lot of areas for improvement for it as well. It was very successful last year, but it was our very first time doing an event like that. So I think there's definitely room for improvement. I think because you all do have so many great ideas, there's also a lot of areas within mental health and physical health and this type of event to partner, whether it's partnering with one or both of the other committees in some capacity, with another city, with something like that. I can also share, I want to say it was the city of Mountain View. They did an event similar, but on a larger scale than what we had. Now, granted, they had a different budget. They secured a grant for it, and so they had a very large budget. But I think there could be an opportunity for one, if we're able to receive some type of sponsorship or doing it on a smaller scale. But their events that they did, they basically made it like a one-day workshop. It was free for teens to attend, but they registered, and I think they had it from like 9 to 3 type of thing. So it was a good portion of the day, but they had different workshops throughout the day, almost like a leadership retreat. If anyone's been to something like that before, they had different workshops. They had speakers come. They had a stand-up comedian come. They had also like, we had like the Love on a Leash with dogs come. They had raffles. It was a huge event, and they had over like 150 teens come out for it. So really awesome. So it's just opportunities that, like I said, tonight you're kind of thinking of the big picture. And then when you have your subcommittee, that's when you can really start to be creative and go, this is what we want to see and what we want to have happen. And then I'll also help to guide you of like what's realistic of happening, because there's 2 parameters of I love the dreaming big, and there's a lot of things we can do, but there is also thinking of that realistic component. I know some of our commissioners who've done it in the past can at least attest to specifically of like the time that it takes to put on these events. It does take time. I'm so thinking of your bandwidth of everything that you have too and how to best balance that. So keeping that in mind as well. I also want to quickly chime in of, again, we're talking about your big picture, other things that you can tag onto as well. So let's say if you wanted to do a mental wellness day, and that's like this committee's large scale events, there's other opportunities throughout the year where you can still do other opportunities, different partnerships. When we have our fun runs, that's an opportunity where if you want to have a booth at the fun run, maybe that's a great way of doing some type of campaigning or awareness. I know I saw a lot of different parts here with like either drug awareness, other type of mental awareness here. Let's see. I think there was a lot of different areas where I think those opportunities are already in place, and you can use those as a springboard of like, that's already happening. It has like 600 people that come to it. It's great visibility for youth commission that you can, those things are already there. It's an easy way for you to segue, use that, and then build upon that. So like we had the shoe drive last year, which I think could have been bigger too, of like having bigger advertisement for it, but they had a great spot in mind to do that. So it's just kind of thinking about that. I know it's a lot of things to consider. Keeping that in mind too. Any other thoughts for big event, at least for health subcommittee?
I know this was one of the ideas last year, but just like an event or maybe like a booth at one of the fun ones that's just like sharing healthy recipes and like samples of them potentially.
Okay, so for large event for health subcommittee, that's what we're going to start with, of just your big event, and then knowing that there's those smaller opportunities, and that's where you can work a little bit more in your subcommittee with. So what I saw from a lot of your responses here, seems like the biggest thread that I see there is having some type of like a mental physical wellness day. Does everybody agree with that as like the large scale event for that? Or if you don't agree with it, it's also okay too, but this is your time to voice that if you're not feeling on board with that. Okay.
I was just like thinking that I definitely agree with the mental health awareness day. I was just thinking that maybe there could also be like there's a mental health awareness day. There could maybe also be like the physical health awareness day, in which like those like more like, as I was reading the doc form, there were physical activities that we, or sports that we could do, like the triathlon maybe, or like some other like sport competitions. So I was thinking maybe if you like have these two big events, maybe that would be like a good idea. But I definitely agree that there should be like, if there can't be both, then there at least should be like one solid like awareness day for mental or physical.
Yeah, no, thank you. Archit.
Yeah, I want to agree with them. I think that, you can't have mental health without good physical health. So you could host a physical health event where you can open kids to, use sports, encourage them to try new sports.
Awesome. I love that. I think this is something that's very doable. Whether you do one event and you combine it, maybe it's a longer event and you have more components and you have maybe the first part of the day is more mental health, second part of the day is more physical health. Or if you did an event where it's two separate events, that's something that we'll definitely can dive deeper in a subcommittee group. So I think that's a great idea as well. It would just be when you do that of figuring out what's going to make them super different to have the event stand alone on its own, and making sure that you're covering enough where people will want to come out for those and what's realistic for that. But I think these are all the great questions and ideas you're bringing up. This is the time to do that. And I think both of those would be great. Okay, so we're gonna just go around similar to how we did earlier this meeting, and we're gonna vote of having, it can be physical or mental, and just knowing we'll kind of dive deep and get that nitty gritty as we go in the subcommittees, but it'll be some type of physical, mental wellness kind of day event. Kind of go around. If you agree, we'll say aye. If you can abstain also, or you can say nay if you just don't like that type of event idea. We'll go Samita.
Aye.
Joey.
Aye.
Nisha.
Aye.
Sophie.
Aye.
Yasmin.
Aye.
Sarah.
Aye.
Ion.
Aye.
Mason.
Aye.
Archit.
Aye.
Monday.
Aye.
Brandon.
Aye.
Miles.
Aye.
Ethan.
Aye.
And Ashley.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay. Wonderful. So it will be some type of event for our health subcommittee. And as we get in subcommittees, they will obviously be more of our ringleaders of planning for that, but it will also be, it is very much a commission group thing. So the subcommittee is kind of the head of the spear with all that, but you all weigh in. So when we have these meetings, and normally they'll report out their updates, that's when we will vote and kind of talk about that as a whole group. Yes, Mash?
Can I use the bathroom?
Yes. Do you know where it is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to move to our community subcommittee group. So I'm going to kind of go through these again as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunities that I saw with this one as well that I think, one, some of things could be combined into one event. I also think some of them could go both ways, that I saw for community and our career and education subcommittee as well. So for our community subcommittee, a lot of what I saw was having a need for some type of volunteer and job fair, kind of a combined event with that. I will say, without spoiling alert for career and education, that's a main thread over there as well too, is some type of job fair, but that can have more components to it. I also agree of our job fair last year was successful, but I think in the future, it does need to have the volunteer aspect and having more opportunities with that. And so from a staff liaison, kind of buy-in with that, it was successful, but a lot of the feedback we got, and rightly so, was it is hard, many of you know, a lot of jobs hire at a minimum of 16 years old. And as you can tell from our commission, we have quite the mix from all of you with ages and grades. And a lot of the people that we saw attend last year were younger than 16 or were just turning 16. And so it is challenging to find job opportunities and for them to come out for that. So I think if we did something like that again, it would just be also more of like an opportunities fair. And you have it for volunteering, careers and kind of more aspects with that. Yes, and Sarah.
I'm not sure if you want us to get down to the specifics of it, but I think a great idea would be like to talk to like hospitals and medical facilities, because they're always on like the lookout for volunteers, and some do like look for 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds. So I think that's also a great opportunity, and we could incorporate that in part of the job fair.
Sarah?
Yeah, and in addition, I think a lot of nonprofits are looking for like younger members to kind of like, you know, voice their message and just like, you know, spread awareness about that. So we can kind of turn it into, like you're saying, more of an opportunities fair, because like most high schools or some high schools require volunteer hours, and in others you can like some people are part of like clubs and organizations that require hours. So that's always something that's sought after, even more than a job.
Yeah.
I do think we should still include jobs, definitely volunteering as well, but I also think that we should include internships, because a lot of people look for internships to explore an expertise they want to go into, or just for a resume maybe. And we also should have like a disclaimer, because last year a lot of people were expecting to get hired at the job fair, but a lot of the businesses were just like voicing that they had spaces open instead of like, oh, we're gonna hire you right now. So like people brought their resumes and everything, and it was like, I want to get hired right now. So I feel like we should just have like a little disclaimer that's like, oh, you're not gonna get hired on the spot, but this is for you to explore potential opportunities.
No, really good points. And I think that's all something, if you do choose to do that type of a route, we can learn and talk about what worked well last year, what didn't, and what can you improve on with that on Beck.
Yeah, I agree with all the points presented. I would just like say that like, maybe this is like better served in the career and education subcommittee, just because it's like specifically focused on the career aspect of like teens and their development. I would say that for community, just like a general sort of like cleanup or like a trail cleanup or a park cleanup or anything that is mainly for the city of Campbell and specifically for like almost like bonding for like different parts of the community. I think that would be a better use for the community subcommittee. As for the career thing, maybe I'm like jumping the gun, but Like, I was thinking that there could be like two different sort of career events that sort of like tie together. Like, there could be like a day in the life event in which someone shadows someone or does something like that. And that can maybe go back to how like you could like follow a policeman for like a day or like work as like help out a teacher or like help out in a hospital or something like that. And one could be like a proper fair in which people talk about, in which like people talk about how to like build a resume or like these are internships, and that's more like an informative thing rather than like an experience.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we jump to career and education subcommittee too. But I did want to bring up because both categories, community and career and education, I saw it get brought up twice on both sides. So it also determines like, or you all have to determine kind of what your goal is, and community and career education and health have a lot of ways that they can overlay, which is great. But trying to focus on what is your goal here for at least your primary large event. And again, like I said, there's lots of other areas and projects or more of like an ongoing type of project that you might want to do as the year goes on, but one that's kind of your big focus. And then you can still have other pieces and kind of what that looks like. So is your community subcommittee one that you want to focus more? Because you can definitely say that the community one has bringing in the community for jobs, volunteering and internships and opportunities. But then you also have your career and education, which obviously falls under there too. So it's kind of looking at for community, what do you want your main goal of community to look like? Mason, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I'll get some water.
Oh, yeah, go for it. I'm gonna go through a couple other things that were shared first, community that kind of got brought up a few times as well too, in addition to having some type of volunteer job there. Saw a couple times for some type of a park cleanup, or some type of cleanup event for the community with that. There's also one for partnering with Campbell PD, our police department, having that community involvement and bringing them into the fold with that. We had some partnership with them last year, and I know they were really excited about that. Again, having some type of environment sergeant day. Cleanup. And then the only other thing that I think was different, other than having job fair, some type of community cleanup in some way, some type of involvement with police or fire, was some type of, we had purely community, but like outdoor movie night, talent show, some type of cultural exchange festival, and tutoring. So I think those were kind of the primary ones that were different from some type of a job fair, volunteer opportunity, MLPD. Lisa, you have and then we'll go Sarah, Yasmin.
I think we should definitely partner with one of the government offices like the fire department or the PD, because I know they expressed a lot of interest last year in partnering with us. So it'd just be a good opportunity for us to follow up on that.
Awesome. Any other, okay, Sarah and then Yasmin.
We actually talked about this at the rec meeting, but, like the community, like mural project, we were like talking about, beautifying, you know, the community center and just making it more welcoming for everyone. So I feel like, you know, people, like if everyone could have like a little art in it, you know, it could just be like a really fun, like sort of event, and everyone can feel that they had some sort of impact in making the, community center a welcoming place.
Awesome. Yasmin and then Sophie.
So this is kind of more on the regards of advertising, but I noticed that like our main target audience is of course the youth commission, obviously, right? But we can also get to these through their parents and everything. So I thought maybe potentially we could reach out to people through one of the biggest city events that happens every Sunday, which is the farmers market, which we could potentially have a stand, not every week, of course, since that's a lot of work. But where we basically spread information about the youth commission and our upcoming events, possibly like maybe a week or two away from the date of the event.
Sophie?
I also think that, definitely I would love to repeat the visit to the PD and potentially the fire department. But I do think that could also be in health if community doesn't get a chance to do it, because, you know, safety tips keep you alive and healthy.
I just thought about the park cleanup. So I was wondering, like, do the people who like clean up at the park and get like involved in the event, do they get any volunteer hours for that? Or is that like just, purely like voluntary, like they just want to do it?
They totally can get volunteer hours about it. It's kind of something that you all can set for it too, and I'm happy to sign off on it. So we have like for example, for the Oktoberfest Fun Run, for all of you, and we open it up for volunteers for anybody. So if you have friends too, that are school that want volunteer hours and want to help with the fun run, they will coordinate with them for signups or volunteering on that day. It takes a village for that event. It's a very large scale event to put on the fun run. It takes us the whole year. We have 2 of them. A lot of different opportunities there, and they do it for volunteer hours. So they would just bring the form or whatever they need, and I'm happy to sign off on that for again, for all of you, or for any volunteers that we have. It's usually myself or our supervisor, Lauren Council, who helps to sign off on volunteer hours for that. So if you did want to do some type of beautification project, a park cleanup, a community center cleanup, something in that realm, it could definitely be something and that could be a great way of advertising too, to get teams involved of like, come and get community hours to be able to do this. But yeah, that's a great point, Sarah.
Also, I feel like we can like directly reach out to all the service clubs that are on our campuses. Like I'm on the California Scholarship Federation board, and we are constantly looking for like volunteering opportunities to provide to our members. So, just by having that contact with like any board member on these like clubs, I feel like that'll be a really good opportunity to get a lot of interesting volunteers.
Yes, no, these are all great points, and these are things that when you have your subcommittees too, we'll talk about what it looks like for advertising, how you can better that, because we obviously have like our social media that I will help to post out on, and I'll work with you all getting some content for that. We share it with schools. It's also, this is from where you all kind of really help to make the waves in getting the word out for all the types of events and things like that. Vic, did you have a question?
Oh, I'm just gonna add, if like the sort of purpose of the community, subcommittee is sort of like to foster like connections and stuff between like the youth of Campbell and just that, like to make a better community. I was thinking that like a world fair, like something like any sort of like cultural mix-up idea would be sort of a good idea, because like you can do a lot of things with it. Like you could add like certain like parts of this, or certain stalls for this, or certain things for this, and it sort of ties in, because if we can get teens to volunteer, I'm just saying this for like a World Fair idea, but we could also do something else. But if teens decide to like volunteer for World Fair, for instance, then it would be maybe like foster more like pride in their culture, while also like being like also volunteering in their community to like help set up this thing. So I think maybe that could be a good idea, but I'm also like just like considering any sort of teens volunteering in the community to like make a better community sort of idea, sort of like World Fair, but something else could work as well.
Any other thoughts for community, just in general? Okay, so I think some of the big ones that I'm hearing here, and you can totally correct me if I'm wrong, the 3 big ones that I think I'm hearing is more of some type of beautification project cleanup in that regard. And that could be, again, something that we dive more into later on. Some type of partnership with PD or fire in that regard, and having some type of community with that. It sounded like we were in agreement of some type of opportunity fair, more for career and education. Okay. And then some type of a World Fair event with that. I think there's always opportunities for advertising at farmers market and having some type of a table at farmers market for youth commission. That's always something. There's also, like I said, tabling at fun runs and things like that too. For those. So I think it's at least for this evening, kind of getting at least that initial big event. It doesn't mean that other events aren't going to be done. It's just, like I said, kind of the big focus, and then we can kind of circle back to see what these look like. So the 3 I said again were kind of a World Fair, some type of partnership with PD and fire, or some type of beautification day or project. Can I kind of get some thoughts of, we'll kind of go around, kind of each of you share at least your top one out of those three. Again, like I said, it doesn't have to be set in stone, but we're kind of trying to get that initial event idea for when you do subcommittees in 2 weeks. We'll start. Ashley, do you want to kind of kick us off of at least from those three? What one you think is like a top one out of those three?
I really like the World Fair.
I like partnering with other government entities like the museum or that part.
Okay, Miles?
I like the World Fair.
I also like the World Fair.
I also like them.
I think a partnership with like the PD or fire department would be good.
Awesome. Mason?
I like a partnership with the PD or fire.
Okay.
I like the World Fair.
I like the community center beautification.
Perfect.
So I'm very on board with the partnership with local city law enforcement.
I love the World Fair and the partnerships with PD. So if community subcommittee can't do the partnership, then physical health can also do that too.
If you had to pick one, Sophie, for this, like I said, it doesn't mean some of these aren't gonna be used. It's just that like more of thinking what the bigger event will be and kind of, again, for World Fair, we'll talk about like, if that's something, what does that look like? What does that entail for that event and how we can make that possible?
I'd probably choose the partnership.
Okay. Aisha,
I like the beautification,
perfect.
like the beautification idea.
Okay.
Beautification idea.
Okay. Well, you guys are all very close because we have, and we can leave it at this, talk about it in the subcommittees as well too, but this helps to really drive it, but we have that. It is a tie at the moment between the partnership and World Fair, and with one vote less for beautification process or beautification day. So very, very close there. Again, it doesn't mean that we can't do more than one of these. It's just, let's say you pick the larger event and you still want to have some type of beautification project, maybe a little bit smaller of one, or sometimes they have cleanup days in the city of Campbell. Maybe it's partnering with one that's already happening and having the commission have a presence there that we kind of are adding to it. So that's another way that we could do that. So for tonight, because I also want to be mindful of time, we will leave it as a tie between those two, and we'll have the subcommittees kind of talk about it a little bit more of what that looks like. And so we're going to jump to career and education. So as you know, one of the big ones that was brought up here was for some type of, again, like the opportunities fair. So I won't go over that one as much. The other things that were a little bit different was the career shadow idea of having it be more of a shadowing of different type of careers and what that looks like. A workshop that would allow teams to explore different jobs, day in the life. These ones are all pretty in line with job fair. And then the only one that's kind of not necessarily with job opportunity volunteer, for more on the education side of things, there was a college prep series and a study skills workshop. And free or low cost college application essay kind of review services. With some of these, I'll point out before we kind of talk a little bit more, but putting the hat on of knowing, like, I know a lot of your schools do some of these workshops and things like that. So it's thinking of that in mind of where are some of these things already happening that we can lean on or utilize. Maybe it's something we're helping to advertise those so more teams have that awareness. Because sometimes these events are happening, but the awareness part is there. So that's the part that they're missing, or youth commission can still have a huge impact of, let's say the library puts on already, I don't know if they do, but like, let's say the library puts on an event already where they share college tips and tricks for essays, but no teens really know about it. That could be something where like that event's already happening, but the subcommittee and all of you can really help say like, wow, last year they had 5 teens come, youth commission stepped in, now we have 50 teens come. So that could be something kind of thinking of that, or that's an opportunity for you all to still make a really big impact on something, but without having to super recreate the wheel yourself, because I know, and we saw this last year with this subcommittee too. There are a lot of different resources that I know the school districts do for helping with prepping for college, and they do a career fair as well too. So it'd be something to be mindful of, and that's why I'll have you all share. We'll go in more in depth for your subcommittees, but of looking at your schedule, your school schedules to know when they do these, because I know a lot of school districts do a career fair. And so we want to be mindful of one, not doing it at the same time, or how to pull in people, because they're going to have a large draw, because that's the whole, they have the whole school district working on putting that together. So that in mind as well. Sarah, did you have a question or
Yeah,
comment?
actually, I just wanted to add that the study skills workshop, it kind of, because like, I mean, I love the college prep idea. It's amazing. It really makes sense because that's like every teen's like big pressure nowadays. But you know, I feel like a study skills workshop could be more accessible to like all ages, because like, you know, college prep doesn't really pertain to like some of like our younger teens, you know, or people that aren't really interested in taking that path in their life, right?
I agree. Mason, Sophie.
I think if we do an opportunity fair, I think we could, like, as a part of that, we could also have like the workshop, or like maybe they can make like a little video, as you said, the career follow along, or it could just be like kind of like encompass that whole entire general idea.
And I think, in just a second, Yasmin, I think it was Sophie next and Yasmin. Especially for our commissioners who were here last year, I super encourage you to, I know you have the experience from last year's, but like, it's difficult, but like putting a new hat on, of like, this is a totally different event. Because I think last year you got the experience of what it looks like from an initial standpoint. But I do think moving forward, if you do some type of event like that, it will need to be different. Because as you know, we've already talked about the job fair. There's a lot of aspects to it that doesn't cater to the majority of the population you all serve. So it can be something that you can still super build upon with different opportunities. I saw that there was interest of like teen business workshop and having kind of that component of what that looks like. So it could be an opportunity, or maybe you have little workshops as a part of it. And like this hour is the time where they come to look at different jobs that are available or things like that. But there's a lot of areas for growth with that. And like I said, we'll talk about it in subcommittees of what you can really pull out of it. But I kind of want you to have that in mind too. Sophie. Okay.
I do think the study tips workshop is a great idea. We could also do it via like Instagram, because I know Campbell has an account, and one of our commissioners last year designed like a logo and like all of the color schemes and all of that. So we could definitely use that as like a full week of like, here's your study tip from the Campbell Youth Commission, something like that.
I love that idea too. I think, again, with all these subcommittees, right now we're just looking at that like large, big picture event. There's these opportunities for that, which I think is great. We have our social media, and we'll work together. And we also have a social media correspondent who works with the city primarily with our PD department, but she came last year to give a presentation on tips and tricks and how to work with that in marketing as well too. And I can have her come back out. But that's helpful. Again, it's more of I don't want to say low hanging fruit, but it's something more like a project that you can do that's a little bit more sustainable instead of the one big event that's all your eggs in that basket. This is something maybe you do a study skills post once a month, maybe it's something you do every other month or a whole week. It could be something like that. It's totally up to your subcommittees to figure out, but it's something that you can do that, again, isn't necessarily a big event, but it's something you're still making an impact on and being able to post. Like I know I saw another safety weekend here too. It could be something that your committee puts together to have that content for it. Sarah, Yasmin.
Yeah, I really like the idea of like a recurring event, because like I feel like we already have like our main focus, which would be like the job fair, volunteer fair thing. So like, yeah. So this kind of recurring thing, it would be really good if we did it through social media, like you were saying, because I mean, yeah, nowadays everyone's on their phone, you know, they're always scrolling. So it's like, I think it's a really good way to like actually reach out to teams and like make them like, you know, make them smarter.
Yes.
Yeah, so, for what I just learned, the Campbell Youth Commission, Instagram doesn't really have a lot of followers, meaning that doesn't like, our content doesn't really reach a lot of people. So a possible good idea is like at our events, we could like offer like prizes or something to people who like follow them. Yeah, like candy to the people who follow our Instagram, so they can like spread the word to more people.
No, I love that. I think, you know, you've brought up a lot of good marketing points tonight, Yasmin. I think those are all things I'd love to see as we go through in your subcommittees. There's all these great opportunities. It can be something of like, I don't know, we can work on them, but of like however many people they post it. You know, if you have Instagram, if sometimes you see like, oh, share this and post this on your thing, and these 3 people will be entered to win. Yeah, like something like that, that could be an opportunity so that we reach more followers, because Campbell Youth Commission doesn't have its own separate Instagram. I think they used to in the past, and I'm not exactly sure on the exact reason, but they merged it into just our Campbell Recreation social media. So if you don't already follow it, should. But it's like at Campbell Recreation. And so that's what they primarily use, is just that one piece, and Youth Commission posts on it. And I will post on your behalf, but we'll work together so you can help to create the content, and then I will post it. So we're not able to share the access for the account with everybody, but I'll kind of do it as your staff liaison, and we'll work together for what that looks like. Sarah.
Okay, really quick to add on to all the social media stuff, we could like, keep track of all of the trends and like just be really, hip in our posts, because I feel like that really attracts, all the communities.
No, I agree. And I obviously would need all of your help on being hip, because I might have lost my touch. Okay. So to be mindful of time, we're going to just quickly, for this subcommittee, seems like the general consensus is some type of maybe opportunity fair as the big primary event project. And I know we talked about having some type of more of like a reoccurring sustainable posts, for maybe that being more the education pieces. Does that sound like we're kind of in that agreement from everybody? Vic.
I don't think I talked about this earlier, but seeing that like this, like the health subcommittee had like maybe that could like a mental and physical health, or like something that could like branch out into like 2 major events, or like the I was thinking that like if we have the sort of like day in the life shadow thing, like maybe take it away from community and put into career, just because it like gives more like emphasis on the like, because there were like a big amount, like a huge sort of 3-way tie going on with community. I was thinking that if we could take away like the community day in the life thing and put it into career, because both of them sort of do the same thing. It may be helpful to give all 3 like a 2-2-2.
Yeah, and that could be something we can chat about it when we're in subcommittees too, to really kind of, when you're in your subcommittees, really look at like, this is what we want to focus on. So I would leave that more to the subcommittees to kind of at least make that initial call to think about. But like I said at the beginning, doesn't mean you can't do some of these other ideas or morph them into one. It also doesn't mean that like 2 subcommittees could partner in putting something on. Maybe you make it a little bit larger scale because you have more of that teamwork in there. So that's something that we can dive a little bit deeper in. For this evening, at least, I'll kind of leave it with opportunity fair to some degree as one of the primaries. And then we can look at more of kind of what that looks like for your year. And at our first subcommittee meeting, I'll give you a worksheet of what it looks like, of kind of what your work plan is, of when you want to have the event, and we'll kind of start mapping some of that out on a more realistic scale. So the subcommittee one will be where we kind of really sink our teeth into it a little bit more. I want to be mindful of time, because I know I told you at 8:30. So I am going to, I know we have our last 2 things for our agenda. Our subcommittees, I will share with you all via Slack. So you'll wait to be surprised. I'll send it to you all tomorrow, because I want to be mindful of time. I'm going to quickly jump into our last piece, will be our calendar reminders to review some of the upcoming events for this. So the next big things that are coming up for this month, Next week is the State of the City event. So that is a Wednesday. So it's not a Monday, it's a Wednesday, September 18th. It is here at the community center in our Orchard City Banquet Hall, or OCDH. It's the building that's like right down here, the big banquet hall. We're really excited for the event. Basically, the mayor will talk about what Campbell has done, what's coming. Youth Commission has always been involved in the past. And I will reach out to you all to make sure to see who's able to come. If you're not able to come, to let me know. But so that way you can check with parents and everything too. We would ask to see if you can arrive by 6 p.m. The event itself starts at 7, but they're wondering if Youth Commission can come at 6 p.m. The doors will open at 6:30 to help with passing out some of the programs, greeting the people that come for the event, and assisting with that. Sophie will be helping to speak in the event as well. So we're excited for that. It also, so you have kind of an idea for timing and checking with parents to make sure if they can bring you, if you're not a driver. It ends around 8 o'clock. So I would say at the latest, you'd be there till 8:15, unless you wanted to stay longer, because usually how the event works is she'll speak and then kind of open it up for like some mingling, and so they have some snacks. So if you want to stay a little bit later, but I would say typically 8 o'clock, 8:15. So it'd be basically from like 6 to 8:15. So I will post about that to give you reminders in Slack. The next big thing, like we talked about, subcommittee meeting will be September 23rd at 7 p.m. That meeting, and I'll send the map again as a reminder, is in our preschool rooms. So when you walk out kind of by the parking lot right here, if you saw where that play structure was on your left, that's where the preschool rooms are. That's where our subcommittee meetings happen. So it's not in here. This is where we have our official ones. Subcommittee will be in the preschool rooms, because we'll all start in one room and I'll break it down into 3 different classrooms so you can all talk separately for that. The last information update I want to share is in regarding Slack. Everyone hopefully by now has downloaded Slack. Has everyone downloaded Slack? Okay, does anyone have any questions on Slack? I'm also happy to chat afterwards. We will now be moving forward with Slack as our primary form of communication. So I want to give you all that heads up. That's where I'll be doing reminders, everything like that. When I post things, this is a reminder for all of you to please react to the post or respond to it. So what I mean by react is like you can hit a little emoji, put a thumbs up, so that way I know you saw it. Because if I post like, oh, remember this meeting's here, and I don't see Mason and thumbs up it, I'm like, oh gosh, does Mason know that we're all supposed to meet? I changed the time to 6 p.m. and he hasn't thumbed it up. I don't know if he knows. So that helps me to let me know that you saw it, you're good to go. That's also where if you want to get a hold of me quicker, you can email me too, but we'll be switching to Slack as kind of our primary with that as well too. Everybody good on all of that? Okay. As always, if you have questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me anytime, but I officially adjourn this meeting at 8:35 p.m. If you can leave your name tag or bring your name tags up here. I'll Slack because I want to be for time.
Wanted to talk to you about, I know you wanted to mention this more in the subcommittee meetings, but I wanted to let you know.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna start.